I'm gonna need you guys to get in a very comfortable position, because this is a doozy. Over the past few weeks, we've been diving headfirst into the Luthor Strode lore, but in this one, we're going way back to biblical times. I'm going to see the origins of freaking Delilah. So please, I'm gonna say it again. Please subscribe and drop a comment. It lets me know you're watching. We continue our story in a desert. We see the three protagonists of this story, Luthor, Delilah, and Petra, have come to this exact location because they got the information from the gunslinger that this was where Cain laid. Luthor asks Delilah whether she's been here before, but she denies it. But deep down, Petra has had enough because she doesn't trust Delilah, not even in the slightest. But Delilah isn't worried because she has been alive for a very long time. That is why she knows Petra is in over her head. She hasn't seen what Delilah has seen. But this didn't sit well with Petra because she had her shares of horrors. She had a father who constantly beat her. She had her horrors. You don't get to say your troubles are deeper than other people's because you have more. So finally, Petra decided to stand her ground, whipping out her shotgun because she was tired of this game. She was tired of playing as if they were friends when her and Luthor knew that Delilah was working for Cain all along. She knew that Delilah used them to take out every single person that stood against Cain, the gardener, the gunslinger. And the whole point of this whole mission was to take out Cain's obstacles. But a good betrayer always knows when her time is up because she made them both dizzy. Using the opportunity to grab Petra's neck, she was about to snap it, but Petra had her trusty grenade. Petra knew the grenade wouldn't kill her, but she knew that Luthor would, because Luthor was the love of her life, and Luthor would never allow her go without killing whoever took her. Luthor tried to make it clear that he doesn't want to, but Delilah had the eyes, so she could tell he was planning his next move already. Because Delilah has been on Earth for a long time, thousands of years in fact. She was a beautiful child, but her father sold her off to slavery. She was forced to do unthinkable things at a young age. She was forced to suffer, but she was never going to take this lying down because she killed her oppressor in a spectacular way and escaped. She was willing to accept death rather than suffer. And before she could die, she was saved. All her assailants turned into mincemeat in a split second. And the person who saved her stood before her, calling her beautiful. This man was Cain. He trained her, sharpened her, gave her purpose, a means to exact her revenge on her father, on her clan, and she was then used by Cain to suppress anyone who had the ability and wouldn't submit. There was Samson. There was Hercules. She was the one that killed Hercules' family. She was a demon. There was Joan the Arc. She was burnt at the stake as a witch. But some families fell in line, like some Japanese families, and the others were changed to binders. But right now, standing before her was Petra. Petra made it clear that of course your life has been horrible, but that doesn't give you a right to cause this much pain. The world would be better if you were dead. But Delilah simply looked at Luthor and asked him, does he believe it too? But Luthor made it clear that no, he doesn't. Because if he's being honest, he doesn't like to kill. And he has made up his mind to never kill again if he doesn't have to. Everyone can change. There is good in everyone. Even you, Delilah. Delilah decided to throw up the grenade. Luthor had to think fast, so he dived, tossing Petra out of the way and grabbing a hold of the grenade, tossing it with all of his strength into the sky. It exploded and everyone was safe, but Delilah was gone. They were stuck in the desert together, but thankfully the place they needed to go was close, so Luthor became a horse. Finding the truck that Delilah took, Petra confirmed all their weapons were still intact, so Luthor opened the door, and what stood before him were three, or rather four of his kind, an Aztec warrior, an African, a samurai, and Delilah herself. This was going to be a tough battle, but Luther was with the smoke. Telling his girl to get ready, he closed the door behind him and got ready for combat, telling them it doesn't have to be this way. But these people didn't care. They were from different eras. They didn't even know what a gun was. They just loved to fight. So the fight began. Luther was used to fighting two people. He has done that a number of times, but this were three, and they were masterclass. But he stood his ground, dodging and attacking, but they were not impressed in the slightest, so he had to get lethal. Petra tried to ram the door, but he wouldn't even budge. Back in the cave though, Luther was fighting for his life, grabbing the spear of the African warrior and launching it directly at his enemies. Delilah asked the samurai why he wasn't fighting, but he made it clear that he's going to wait. But at this moment, the spear was coming directly for her head. But the samurai was strong, catching it from the air. And when he noticed that Luther was in the air himself, he launched it back, knowing Luther wouldn't be able to dodge while he was in the air. The Aztec warrior, seeing this take place, grabbed a hold of the spear and tossed Luther to the side, returning the spear back to the African, making it clear that the spear is a useless tool, that he should only use his hand. But as we have seen over the years, the people that are like Luther that use weapons are deadly. We've seen the gunslinger, now the African, and we're going to see the samurai as well. The African warrior didn't hold his tongue, letting him know he was a fool for not using a weapon. And Luther told them, middle of the fight, that he doesn't want to fight. They have a better way. The Aztec warrior and the African laughed because they never saw any of a better way. They were bred to fight. But Luther wasn't talking to them. He was talking to Delilah, ripping off his shirt. Even if he knew he was going to lose this fight, he still had to fight because that was just his nature. He was stabbed and smacked down as hard as possible, but he still wouldn't give up, telling Delilah things could be different. She thought about her past, thought about the life she knew, and she realized this was the wrong choice. This was not who she was meant to be. Out of nowhere, Petra started shouting Luther's name, but caught the attention of the Aztec warrior who wanted flesh. He attacked, running as fast as he could, and Luther tried to stop him, but the African pinned him to the ground. The Aztec warrior reached the door. Delilah stopped him because now she knows her side. She chose her side, trying to use her persuasion to let him calm down. She was blasted through that door so fast. It was so funny. He was ready and he wanted flesh. But Petra was ready as well, wielding a Gatling gun. She smiled because she was done running. She let it rip, tearing this Aztec warrior into mincemeat. His corpse was spectacularly splattered everywhere. Everyone inside the cave saw this happen. Luther saw this happen, and he was proud of the girl he loves. But the warriors were confused because they have never seen this weapon before. Luther, using their confusion, he managed to escape, but the warrior, the samurai, attacked. He was so fast, like the Flash, wielding two sharp blades. He was about to end Luther's life. Using the eye of foresight, they saw that Luther had given up. He wasn't moving. So they decided to end his life, grabbing a hold of Luther's neck, ready to split it. But Luther doesn't give up easy, jumping forward, causing the samurai to split the African in half. Using the corpse of the African, he tossed it at the samurai, disarming him. The battle was over. The battle was won. Luther came out on top, but he wasn't going to kill the samurai, letting him know that he's a man of honor, and he wants to end this the right way. He wants to kill Cain and end this suffering, giving the samurai back his sword. The samurai joined them, but he was foolish because he decided to charge for Cain himself, which was the wrong move. Luther tried to stop him, but there was no stopping him. He was already in Cain's chamber. Cain saw the attack coming and smiled like he wanted this to happen. The samurai unleashed a flurry of attacks, but all that was for nothing because with one swift motion, All the chains and binds were broken, and the samurai's head went flying. Cain could have broken out any time he wanted. He chose to be here, and Luthor saw this and knew he was in trouble because Cain, father of murder, the original killer, was free, and he was going to fuck shit up.